Thank you very much, wherever you're joining from. I am Pastor Maxwell Nawe. Please permit me to say good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night to you, depending on your time zone. Insecurity continue to rise in Nigeria. Killings, murders, abductions for ransom has not been tackled. The government of the day has not done anything tangible to bring the perpetrators of these heinous crimes against humanity to justice. Yobe State has been bleeding over the years. The time of Muhammadu Buhari as the president of the country, Yobe State bled till the end of his administration. It has continued. Terrorist attacks of different scales, leaving scores of people dead, forcing children to become orphans and women to become widows, and of course, husbands to become widowers. Terrorist attacks on the state of Yobe has not been tackled by the government of the day, whether that of the state or at the federal level. Saudi Arabia embassy has condemned the recent attack of ISWAP, which has left more than 34 villagers dead in Yobe State. Condemnation is not enough. Saudi Arabia is just trying to sympathize or empathize with the poor, innocent, hapless villagers. This is an embassy, and you know there's a lot of diplomatic responsibility that is on the shoulder of Saudi Arabia, that they cannot make certain statements because of the sovereign status of the contraption called Nigeria. It's just an embassy, and you know that an embassy speaks for the country. The embassy has spoken on behalf of Saudi Arabia, but they are restricted and they are confined to certain level of divergence of information to the public knowledge. They have the facts, they have the figures at their fingertips. They are in possession of certain classified information, but the only thing they can do is to give a word or make a statement of condemnation of the terrorist attacks. They cannot fight this terrorism for Nigeria. Saudi Arabia is an independent nation. They have their embassy in Nigeria. They respect the territorial integrity of the country, Nigeria, which is their host country. So they cannot outrightly interfere in domestic issues of the country, because they wouldn't also want any other country to interfere in their own domestic issues in Saudi Arabia. So when such kind of terrorist attack that leads to countless number of dead bodies occurs. As people who understand the value of human life, as a country, as a nation, Saudi Arabia, who understands that this is unheard of, that this should not be happening incessantly, not that there will not be terrorist attack. It should be a surprise attack, not predictable one. An attack that the government can predict. The government has all the information in its possession. What is the duty of the Secret Service, which is called the DSS or the SSS? They are the Nigeria's secret service when it comes to security, both of obtaining information, intels, before ever the act is carried out. So Saudi Arabia, they have their own, and they know how to handle the situation of insecurity or terrorism. Okay? So when they see such a thing happen in Nigeria countless times, repeatedly, in fact, repeating the same format of the terrorist act or terrorist activity, they repeat the same cycle. It's not even a unique operation, just something that is so regular that by now the security intelligence of the country can predict these terrorists before they carry out their terrorist activities, because it's the same style, the same method of operation. So why is it that this has continued without any tangible record of achievement in curtailing this very dastardly act? Saudi Arabia can only condemn. They cannot fight insecurity for Nigeria. And no, there is always a collaborative effort. There are bilateral agreements in different aspects of the country's need. And between country and other countries to assist in one area or the other that is of utmost importance for the country. In this case, security. So if there are bilateral agreement between Saudi Arabia and Nigeria when it comes to fighting terrorism or insecurity, what are the terms? If there are terms, not if, already there are terms, okay? Saudi Arabia cannot cross the line. They will only maintain their own part of the agreement. They will keep to the terms of the bilateral agreement. They cannot do more than what is agreed. If they do, it means an encroachment. It means a trespass. It means usurping or trying to undermine the territorial integrity of Nigeria. So when things like this happen, the best they can do is to act within the circumference of the bilateral agreement that they have entered into with Nigeria. So they condemn. That is it. But the word of condemnation, press statement of condemnation, cannot fight terrorism. Albeit we welcome this very official statement that is coming from the embassy of Saudi Arabia in condemnation of the ISWAP killings of more than 34 villagers in Yobe State in the northeast Nigeria. ISWAP is reigning supreme over there in the northeast Nigeria. And they want to make their way to the south, be it the southeast or the south, as they are called. We must be very, very conscious that Nigeria is not functioning the way it's supposed to be as a nation. Let me repeat what I said a couple of minutes ago or seconds ago. This style of terrorism attack and oppressions are repeated. They are no longer strange to the data collected so far over the years since the operations of these terrorists. The data that the Nigerian military has, that the Air Force has, that the DSS has, police has, all of the security outfit or institutions or operatives of the country, the data they have on how these people operate is no longer strange to their style of oppression. Besides the fact that they have intel that exposes to them the planned terrorist attack of whatever state. They have the intel. What do they do with it? What do they do with it? Sabotage. And why is this sabotage repeating? It's because of corruption. The proceeds of corruption is so alluring. The proceed of corruption is so sweet to those who lack integrity, to those who don't have the best interest of the masses at heart, to those who are incapable of protecting the lives and properties of the citizens, who imposed themselves on the people. Sabotage. The Saudi Arabia's embassy in Nigeria has condemned the killing of 34 villagers in Yobe State by a branch of ISIS terrorist group known as Islamic State in West African province, ISWAP. An official statement issued by the embassy in Abuja Wednesday reiterated the kingdom's complete rejection of violence, terrorism, and Islamic extremism. Islamic extremism. Nobody's against anybody's religion. You are entitled to your own belief in whatever you choose to believe in. But do not use the tenets, the beliefs, or the core values of your religion to claim the lives of others. We were told that Islam is a religion of peace. And over the years, we continue to ask our questions. Why are there incessant occurrences of terrorism credited or attributed or recorded within this very religion? And some people and some scholars, including Islamic scholars and other scholars of different fields or discipline, have all come out to explain that these are the extremists in this particular religion, the extremists. So why are there extremism? Why? Why don't we have Christian extremists? Why? Why? Why don't we have Christian suicide bombers? Why? Why? I'm not talking about religion here. But we must understand that we are all human beings and we feel the pain of one another. When lives are lost, we must sympathize with those who have lost such lives unjustly. Injustice to one is injustice to all. God created all of us. We are all the creations of God. Every human being upon the face of the earth. From one source, one creator, God. So, when it is happening within any fold or any religion, and people are dying because of what another believes in, because of what another believes as a faith, as a norm, as a standard, we have to rise up to make our necessary contributions to lend our voices and to condemn it. Islamic extremism. Recall that in June, the government of Yobe State had said it has recruited repentant Boko Haram terrorists into the government, which is called hybrid force, to tackle insecurity in the state. We are told that Yobe State decided to recruit what they call the repentant members of the Boko Haram terrorist group. They said that they are repentant, that they have repented, that they have changed, they have surrendered, and they have been rehabilitated. And Yobe State believe that these repentant, in quote, repentant members of the Boko Haram terrorist group are valuable assets and resourceful in the aspect of intelligence gathering in order to tackle insecurity in the state. So we were told, what did they do? Rather than prosecute these very arrested members of the Boko Haram terrorist group, what they did was, according to them, to rehabilitate them and reintegrate them into the society. In other words, they became part and parcel of the members of the society, including those they have killed their relatives or their parents or their children or their mother. They now become part of them again. No prosecution, no jail term. They have repented. The government now decided to reintegrate them. Not only reintegrating them into the society, the government now created a special force, a special security institution for them, which they tagged hybrid force. Hybrid force. So they are hybrid because they are repentant Boko Haram terrorist members. They became hybrid. Hybrid. What was their training? Bombing, killing, abductions, rape. What was their training? As a hybrid force. What qualified them? The only thing that qualified them was because they were members of Boko Haram terrorist group. So they know how to bomb, they know how to kill, they know how to, I don't want to mention other things. What is the training? The rehabilitation, how long did it take? What system did they go through? And what is the standard of the training? We don't know. We woke up one day to hear that there's now a group or an institution or a security outfit official created by the government that is called hybrid force. Who are the operatives? Repentant Boko Haram members. So they sang the song and made a very strong case that they are going to help the state government, being the Yobe state government, in intelligence gathering when it comes to tackling insecurity and also fighting insecurity, because they have in possession information on how Boko Haram operates, being, in quote, ex-members of the Boko Haram terrorist group. So they possess so much information on their operation, their locations, their method, and all that, including their sponsors. So it is expected that there should have been significant improvement in security in Yobe State as a result of this very hybrid force, in quote, being made of exclusively members of the Boko Haram terrorist group who they claim have repented. And now you wonder, when you come across this type of news information, 34 villagers killed, 100 villagers killed, thousands still being killed in cold blood in the same Yobe State. What will now be the record? What will now be the confidence of the people in the government that opened its arms to embrace the so-called repentant Boko Haram members and to form a special force unit for them to help them tackle insecurity? And now the spate of insecurity is worsening in the same state. It is pathetic. Very, very pathetic. The official statement of the government that very day, they said that they have these repentant Boko Haram insurgents called hybrid force that have been assisting the security agencies in conducting operations in Damaturu, Ingoniri and Buniyadi, and other local areas. What did they do? According to the official statement of the government, they help in information, as I said seconds ago, about the insurgents, and also they expose the sources of the insurgents, both the source that provides food for them, the source that funds them, their financiers, and the sources that gives them information on how to carry out their operations successfully without any interference or any counter force coming from the army or any of the security agents of the Federal Republic or the state government. They also tell them of their sources and alliances with ISWAP. Now, they also talk about their collaboration with ISWAP. That is Boko Haram and ISWAP collaborations, and their collaborators and their suppliers. Those that supply them the weapons, the guns, the bullets, the improvised devices, and all that they, both logistics, Hilux vans, motorbikes, and all whatnot. They provide information in those areas that the government may know how to handle them and bring them to justice and stop their activities. That is what we are told that this hybrid force was helping the government to do. Now, the special advisor of the state government said that the repentant Boko Haram members were deployed to guide them to assist in containing the infiltration of terrorists and their collaborators in the commercial town. That's what he said. In Gaidem, according to him, there are people engaging in business activities on behalf of Boko Haram. There are people engaging in business activities on behalf of Boko Haram. When you see these people doing one business or the other, you will think that they are legitimate. You will think that they are doing the business for themselves. You will think that, oh, they are hardworking, they're industrious, not knowing that the business they are doing is on behalf of Boko Haram. They could be food vendors. They could be into different kind of businesses that appear to be normal, that appear to be genuine. But then they were actively representing and transacting such businesses on behalf of Boko Haram. Don't be surprised that some of those businesses are registered with the CAC. Some of those businesses are registered with the Corporate Affairs Commission. Don't be surprised. But such businesses were owned by Boko Haram. However, the Saudi kingdom also expressed its sincere condolences and sympathy to the families of the deceased, the government and people of Nigeria. The deadly terrorist group ISWAP Tuesday claimed responsibility for the attack that led to the killing of more than 34 villagers in Yobe State, northern Nigeria. It was reported that the terrorists attacked Mafa town around 4 p.m. on Sunday, killing people, setting houses and shops ablaze. In a letter written in Arabic and released by the ISWAP insurgents, it claimed responsibility for the deadly attacks on the innocent citizens of the state. What was the reason? The terrorist group claimed that the village was attacked for allegedly providing information to the military, which led to the killing of its members. In their words, this is a message from the soldiers of the Caliphate in the West Africa province to the leaders, Mokhtars, and the rest of the residents and farmers in the town of Mafa and villages around it. You have been tempted to remain. You have been tempted to remain in your countries in safety. The soldiers of the caliphate will not harm you, nor threaten you with your money, nor hinder you from any activity of yours, whether agriculture, trade, etc., until you have arrogantly raised yourselves to a position in which you believe that your hands will reach our brothers with harm and remain uninterrupted. You have harmed our brothers in the past days in the town of Bangor and its environs, and you cooperated and sympathized with the apostates in killing our brothers. And when we arrived in the area, we did not harm you. The statement read. So later on, they were now infuriated. They said, no, there must be a reprisal. And there was a reprisal attack leading to the death of scores of Yobe state helpless and helpless, innocent, armless citizens. It is so pathetic. And what is the government doing? Paying lip service as usual. Condemnations, releasing official statements is not enough. Something needs to be done so urgently to make sure that people can go to the beds in the night with their two eyes closed. This is how it's supposed to be in democracy. All the budgets, all the money, funds, both foreign aids that the government have been utilizing, being given to it or provided for it to make sure that there is security, to make sure that there is safety, not just in Yobe State. What are they doing with it? What are they doing with it? They're enjoying themselves, moving on in their convoys of bulletproof cars. They cannot be touched. They are so sacred. They can never ever be touched. Their children don't live in Yobe State or in Anambra State or Imo State or in any other state that has been terrorized. Their children are enjoying and cruising life abroad. And with this, we bring this segment of broadcast to an end. Thank you for watching. I am Pastor Maxwell Nawin.